How is the future?
The future is the map picks for this match. And as you can see, the first pick is going to be the Defendants, of which they have selected Burial Chamber. 2Z opting to go for the Ruins of Sarnath, and the final map will be Blood Covenant.
Ruins of Snorlag. How about that?
Snornath.
Let's just ruin all of it at the same time. Now, back to seriousness.
Clud Revenant.
I feel like this isn't even smart anymore. This is just
reverse
nonsense. This is chaos.
Just swap the letters around. Now, what really interests me about the series that we're about to see is going to be a distinct difference in the champions that we're going to see selected.
And one thing that I hope we see that ZSX pointed out is the potential maybe to see that full aggression composition with maybe Anarchy, Nyx, and Slash on the same team. This has been the Slash show this weekend. Really, it has been today. Slash went from being never picked whatsoever in, I think, literally any of the qualification games at all in the first 2 weeks. We've almost seen her every single time today.
We did not see Slash selected at any point during the qualifiers. And we even pointed that out in week 2. We're like, man, I mean, we've gone all this way. Do people just not have any faith in this champion whatsoever? But I think as we sort of wind the clocks forward, it's looking heavily likely that the players just needed time. They needed to revise the game mode. They needed to find an approach that worked for them. And it just seems to turn out that Slash seems to fit many approaches like a glove. She has so many different tools that work well on almost every single map. Burial Chamber being that first map is going to be very interesting for Defendants, because the small agile champions, they've got lots of room to fly around on this map and dodge rails because they're going a little bit quicker than normal. Well, I think all 4 players go with that then, you know.
I think the Anarchy and Slash together, though, really could be. And it looks like we haven't seen the draft at all. We're just going straight into it, so we'll see who they've picked as we move along. But I think really that a Slash and Anarchy combination together really is that efficient, you know, throw down. If they're both running the Soul, you throw the Soul, pop your ability, get that ridiculous speed boost, pick it back up again. And both Anarchy and Slash do that to an insane degree. Oh, cheeky ghost walk, waiting for it to appear.
Here comes a Ranger. Backed up by Nyx, and already the frags are flying through. Luminous with that Soul on deck. Gets head off, and an amazing rocket, actually really well placed, kept Luminous out of the way of that entryway.
While we are stuck to the early stages of this match, do remember at home, guys, this is a Quake World Championship qualification match. The winning team is going to secure their team spot at the World Championships in a few weeks' time. This is all or nothing now.
Here comes a dual-wielding Blaskovic trying to run in. All guns blazing, does more than enough damage. Silencep gets that double LG.
So Silencep has been running the Sorlag today for the most part, but is now choosing to go to the Blaskovic. They're almost like a good defending role champion, but also just good at just straight up fighting, especially if you're sort of fighting over that Soul. And at the moment, it looks like 2Z were able to secure a little bit of percentage at the start. Defendants now, Latrommi trying to find safe passage through to B, but we can see already that 2Z have plenty of people there waiting for him.
I also feel like, on the other hand too, that the Blaskovic might be a direct answer to the
Latrommi, he threaded the needle completely, but he missed the actual obelisk. Oh no, he went straight past it.
Well, clawz catches him as well, but as I was mentioning, Deus with that Blaskovic.
Havoc now holding on to it, 8 health left to go, not going to last very long at all. Latrommi now has it again, passes it over to clawz, who's quite close enough, but only 45 HP left to go. There's one member of 2Z. Wow, Too Good is there waiting, gets a double kill with the rail. Too Good's accuracy has been on point.
Very impressive stuff, and his 3 change. That is going to be a third one. But clawz going in for Ranger instead of Slash, so that might be map dependent, it might be champion dependent. There's going to be an element of trying to sort of predict the champions you're likely to face also. But here comes that power up, it's going to be protection.
That's a point, actually. Do we not have a Slash on either team this time?
Maybe it's just Burial Chamber. Slash may not be seen as useful on the map. It's a bit more open space, less room to get, I guess, stuck in between the plasma trail.
A good start, though, coming out from Defendants, 25% and climbing, and they have access to the protection, which once again is on the Anarchy. Very dangerous combination. Or tries to pull out the gauntlet for a nice cheeky frag, but isn't going to get it this time. Krysa is not going to make it that easy.
Defendants have a good lead so far. I mean, 30% climbing right now. 2Z yet to take a single speck of percentage. I mean, Defendants, they've been looking really good all day. Very confident play style too.
I mean, confidence is clearly something you need across all competitive games, but if you can do so as a team in a very skill-based game such as Quake Champions, I mean, how do you overcome that morale if the enemy team is just feeling themselves that much?
But now we've reached the territory where it's like 50% and half the job has already been done. you need to worry because the power-up's not going to be up for 50 seconds. That is still a long time. And right now, I guess the power-up-less approach hasn't really been working out so good. So how long will the percentage climb until something game-changing can occur?
Not quite sure, but Defendants still holding on to it. Krysa manages to keep hold of the soul, throws it straight back in again. TZ were able to touch the soul, but really couldn't get it too far. Defendants did this last time, though. They're almost like defending outside of the obelisk, just not letting them in the room itself at all.
It's definitely an approach we're starting to see more and more, where it's you can defend the obelisk room, but really, if you can catch some good spawns and prevent them from even being in that position, then it's going to be even better. Power-up spawns in 10 seconds. Latrommi has been able to seize the soul, but a big part of that might be because Defendants have closed in to try and take the power-up instead. Oh no, Latrommi!
Latrommi taking the long way around the obelisk. It was pretty much uncontested to get there, considering the power-up, and actually, yeah, power-up was quad damage, and it goes the way of Defendants. This is going to be difficult for them to deal with, especially considering the machine gun, even by itself, doing so much damage.
Now, this is going to be the issue they've had, is that they kind of got an uncontested soul drop-off, but a big part of that was because Defendants had sealed the power-up, and that was a really crucial frag there, but now they've been able to sort of uncontestedly just go in with the quad damage.
And Krysa is just going to swap in once again just to get on the point and get all that damage coming out of the quad damage. Still half of it left to go. Dies again. Quad damage. You obviously become the big target that everyone wants to take down, but if you can get a good amount of frags in the meantime, Defendants are able to use that quad damage to then get the soul back to them. 2Z managing to get a little bit on the board, but there's still quite a lot of percentage separating the teams.
I mean, if that were at the start of the match with 17, then it's not so bad, but as we dawn almost a 5-minute mark and 75% for the Defendants, 17% just isn't gonna be enough.
Especially if they're trading frag for frag, and we have to remember that if you are trading constantly on the point, whoever's holding onto the obelisk is going to come off better in those trades, because they're just going to be raising percentage. The injection is popped, and Latrommi definitely didn't really have the equipment to get out of there. I think all he had was a super nail gun.
That was just really violent.
Deus is just super shotgun. He is holding the line. Oh, completely. Three of them.
He has just been an impenetrable brick wall. Is he going for a fourth? Doesn't even need it because Avec going up behind. But this entire time, the percentage has just been climbing steadily. And I mean, they've got like 5% left to go now. Well, make that 2% and going.
It looks like 2Z do have a few people around, but no, they just actually weren't able to get on the obelisk in time. And they were concentrating on fighting, and that slips right through 2Z's fingertips, and Defendants with a very comfortable map. Well, round number 1, or map 1.
That was dominant. Like, that was assertive. And a huge part of that is also going to be the location on Burial Chamber. Obelisk A is, in many ways, a very popular holding point. And if you're going to be that team that can drop it off first and you've given yourself that choice, you've immediately got that advantage. As the soul is about to spawn, we're going to see who can grab it this time.
20 seconds, so a few seconds away from it coming back. Ghostwalker's popped. Both of them have the same idea.
Mistimed a little bit, but Luminous still manages to get a gauntlet regardless of what happens. Unfortunately, history is going to repeat itself. Avec with the drop-off.
Oh, Avic's tracking on the LG. That is a frag waiting to happen. Taking enough damage. Silencep is here trying to stop him. He does manage to get the frag in time. Only 5% on the side of Defendants, so Silencep getting that early steal.
Importantly for them, though, they've been able to seize the soul way earlier than they did in the previous round.
Good awareness there to throw it to Latrommi.
That's going to be a straight up 1v1, but clawz up behind to make it a 2v1. But here comes the rest of Defendants in force. Avec pincering in, but Luminous frags him from behind. Deus has the soul, trying to get away, but just not strong enough to survive. Fumbles the throw.
Yeah, this is a very back and forth situation going on right now. Tuga unfortunately committing suicide, but taking out clawz in the meantime.
Latrommi's really trying to drop this off, but he's just surrounded all 4 members of Defendants and now looking to make passage back. All 4 of them together. And as you can see, Anarchy actually, it looks like the rail may have connected, but he's sort of sneaking away on the side.
Yeah, the sheer amount of distance he covered. Positioned himself. There's the injection. Oh, wow, and Too Good is here just to support his friend to get him on the point safely.
The injection was huge. The injection was huge because it just kept Anarchy alive long enough for Too Good to run in and then just surprise from behind. And then they got the drop-off. Really good coordination there.
A minor lead for Defendants, but, I mean, it really is the most important thing that they were able to hold onto the Cathedral, which is the one they like. Nice frag coming out. Luminous going to be falling down. Latrommi has managed to steal away the soul, but dies immediately. Power-up's going to be up in just a few seconds' time. Now, which team is going to be focusing on controlling this?
Well, we can see Nyx, the preemptive dual wield just in case a Nyx appears, and she does.
Oh, wow. Do you see Avic's timing on that Dire Orb, teleporting just as the power-up spawned? That was immaculate.
That's what these top Quake players do. I mean, their timing is good as is, and then when you take these really small things into account, where I know how long I can teleport to my dire orb, I know how long it's going to be until the power-up spawns.
I would be very surprised if Avek was to be intercepted on the way here. I mean, you've got a protected Ranger, he's got teammates around him, he's got the soul. I mean, can they stop him from dropping this off?
This is definitely a much better round, though, for 2Z. It's going to be just...
accuracy.
Yeah, that was disgusting. But, I mean, the difference has been very minimal here. It's 19% versus 25. Yes, it's climbing, but this is nowhere near as dominant as we saw in round number 1.
Also, the power-up has run out now, so we're sort of just back to the good old-fashioned standard 1v1s, but there's a lot of 2Z here trying to steal this back.
Actually, all 4 members, in fact, and they've just scored a bunch of frags, too. So they're going to go for the drop-up, but again, it causes the respawns to change a little bit. As you die within your base, you'll respawn a little bit closer towards the enemy obelisk, which pretty much is exactly what you want. You know, you want to head them off. You don't want to be chasing them. You want to meet them in the middle.
Oh, nice follow-up. He's going to take the frag. Deus was left alive and shot him in the back for not finishing the fight.
Again, here we go. Towards obelisk B, but just as fast as they're able to deliver it. That's a nice airborne super shotgun. As fast as they're able to deliver it, they've just seized it back, and now Too Good trying to find his way back towards the obelisk. Managing to slip past, actually.
I must say, Too Good just has been that reliable fragger on the side of Defendants this entire day. He's just been there ready to defend the point 9 times out of 10. He's supporting his teammates in the right way, but his just reliability to be there to get those crucial frags has been so important for Defendants' success today.
Now they've got a lead, but Latrommi trying to find a safe way to get away. The problem is he's pretty much surrounded by enemies at this point, and Deus, no troubles at all landing that rail. Here comes the power-up. We're going to see which one it is. Who's going to get it? Oh, Nyx up behind.
The next 1v1. Oh, wow, that was a telefrag. Both Nyx is having the same idea there. I mean, that is bound to happen, and it's definitely not the first time we've seen it today. Too Good now with the protection on Nyx. Or, you know, how difficult she can be to take out as it is, let alone when she's taking so much reduced damage.
That was a lovely little rampage right there, where you got the telefrag, and then you got a couple of super shotgun kills, still alive because of that protection. Problem is, actually, they haven't been able to really get any frags, so almost no percentage gained.
No, none at all, unfortunately, and now Defendants find themselves with 60% to the 19 on 2Z. This is exactly what they need. This is a strong map for them, but can they hold on? The wield, I believe, is popped, but not getting too much out of it. Oh dear. Deus unfortunately committing suicide, but taking someone out in the meantime.
clawz answering back, and it's been a massive back and forth. It's kind of funny, really. It's been a massive back and forth game, but the percentage only really climbs for Defendants. 2Z do a great job of seizing the soul. They're able to sort of take it back towards the obelisk, but the second they drop it off, they either die immediately or they lose the soul immediately. Now they've safely dropped it off. They need to make sure they keep it for a lot longer, because so far the percentage they have has not been sufficient.
Well, a big part of it actually has been rail. It's just that consistent long-range damage that Defendants haven't really been dropping.
That was really nice. Have it point blank. I'd say that. A couple of rails coming through for 2Z.
Too Good having it, but having to throw it away, severely outnumbered in the situation, but Too Good's going to get a quick gauntlet kill. Wow.
That was actually a really good decision for him too, because he had 4 HP coming out of the invisibility, so he thought, well, if I go for a gauntlet kill, I'm going to trade 1 for 1 here. That's still going to be a victory. Trying to pass back Krysa.
Too Good has it again. Can he see if he get it around? No, definitely not. Hasn't quite got the health. There's been a stuff to forget. Both teams having a very squishy lineup here brought to the table, so not much life whatsoever for either of them. So these are going to be quick and brutal engagements.
Once more, in a few seconds, this power-up is going to appear. Defendants, the lead is slowly closing in for 2Z, where they're starting to even things out. It's going to be quad damage. Avek has the quad. Issue with the quad is
taking out Avek that quickly was crucial, though. Avek has been one of the most important fraggers, I think, today, period. His accuracy has been ridiculous, and giving someone like that quad damage can be disastrous if you don't deal with him quickly. But fortunately, 2Z were able to do that.
Through all the chaos. Oh, that was disgusting. But through all the chaos, they were able to sort of get away with the soul. Unfortunately, because they had the quad, he wasn't really able to sort of position himself safely, trying to get out there with Krysa, but he's got taken out.
Oh, that quad damage machine gun putting in work. Only just ran out, but quite a rampage Luminous was able to go on there. And just look at how much the percentage is closed in on that one sequence.
It really puts things into perspective and just shows how vital the power-up will be per map. Because that entire duration of the quad damage is what allowed 2Z to just score those frags before Defendants even had a chance to get close. And because of it, I mean, they're very, very steadily closing the gap. It's now 62%. Defendants stuck on 68. And it's been quite a long round too. I mean, 7 minutes and counting.
Here we go. I mean, 2Z actually completely tied things up now after that sequence. Very impressive.
How many members of Defendants are currently on the location, but none of them particularly strong, and that's why the rails come through. Too good, actually scoring 2 rails, and he's still nice and healthy. That was a lovely little sequence. He's now trying to find his way back safely, but the airborne rail followed up by the rest of the
He
team.
has his boys with him. The squad is here, ready to assault A, get it back onto its home. Silencep steps in, but Avec is there ready to clean him up. Can we drop it off safely? He has enough health, but how much of 2Z here to stop? Now we find ourselves in a similar situation. Yeah, 30% left to go for both of these.
Now this round is definitely a lot closer than it was, and Latrommi surprised from behind. But again, I want to bring attention to it. That power-up's going to spawn in 10 seconds, and at this percentage, this could be the game-changing power-up. Absolutely.
It's likely to be the last power-up we see in the round unless we really go down to 99.99, but oh, it's going trading out now.
It was
But Deus has it now. This is disastrous for 2Z.
But when it was quad damage, the fact that I think 2Z had put so much emphasis on trying to seize the power-up as it spawned, because it was quad damage, they just got peppered by rockets. Defendants getting those free frags, cleaning up.
Oh, but Luminous is there to stop him. They do have access to the quad damage now. Can they use it to get out of this situation?
Well, they've managed to place the soul. It's looking likely that's it, and it is indeed. Defendants taking this first map, and one more map could send these guys to QuakeCon for the World Championship.
We find ourselves in that, I suppose, stressful realization again that now there is just one map separating Defendants from having their work finished for now. But obviously they do still have a whole map left to take, let alone, I mean, if we do go down to a map 3, depending on how 2Z now retaliate, but still, Defendants looking so strong.
And what really surprised, I don't want to say surprised me, but what I found particularly interesting here is it was very much like what we saw in the absolute first map. Not a single chunky champion in sight. Throughout the course of the day, we have seen specific champions be really useful because of their ability to tank damage, because these frags do go down so quickly. Right here, though, I mean, that it's just all about speed and all about the ability to kill people quickly.
But that's a lineup that both teams went for, though. Like, both teams went for that hyper-aggression, no beefy champions, very little in terms of, like, I suppose, designated defenders. But still, you've got 4 champions that are all capable of fast mobility and just constant fragging. Then if you have that momentum and you are managing to hold your ground the way that defendants were able to do, then you can see it working out. Now, the fact that 2Z, we saw them have, I think the slash they chose in the first map today had a huge impact, and now we're going to be going on Ruins of Sarnath, I believe, as our next map, which is a map that we've seen Slash have a lot of success on across both Duel and Sacrifice this weekend. Perhaps we might be seeing him go back to Slash and perhaps making a difference.
We've talked about Slash a lot today, but I think a really big part of that is because of how prominent she's been in comparison to the absolute lack of seeing her at all throughout the Quake.
We went from her never being picked to even yesterday, rarely, you know, a few of the Quake 4 like true loyalists were picking her, but today, in Sacrifice particularly is a mode we just never saw her until today.
But I think we didn't see her on Burial Chamber because, and in many ways even Sorlag, because it's close quarters is what greatly benefits Sorlag and Slash together. So when you watch something like Ruins of Sarnath, of which there are loads of different sort of twists and turns underground, even Obelisk B, and actually no, A, both Obelisks in particular are super prone to the area denial that both Plasma Trail and Acid will bring to the table. And then Lockbox is the same kind of thing. Let's take a look at this champion
So
selection.
it looks like we are going to see Silencep going back to that Sorlag, and clawz is going to be going back to the Slash that he was the first Slash we saw today. So it's going to be 2Z on the left in the blue and Defendants there on the right in the red. Now, Slash, Anarchy, Nyx, and Sorlag. That is, again, a very aggressive hyper-mobility composition. Even Sorlag, being a very beefy, tanky champion, still has quite generous mobility options.
Now, when clawz has been using Slash, and he's gone for the pick again, it's not just the champion and the tools that she brings to the table, it's the player behind the champion.
And this is also the map that they picked as well.
And it's always going to be a massive element it's not just the tools that are given to you, it's how you use those tools. And clawz with Slash today has been one of the absolute scariest players for a champion, like by far, free. It's barely even contestable. His Slash today has been scary.
To the point that it actually really is surprising that he didn't go with it on Burial Chamber, unless maybe that's just not a map that he thinks she does very well on. Maybe
Very well
just,
could be.
Maybe he just preferred other options there, but Ruins of Sarnath 2Z really was a map that they dominated earlier on, and they'll have the same success here. We will find out very soon as we get into what could be the final map of the series. Defendants, if they win this map, they go to the Quake World Championships. If 2Z win this map, they tie things up and keep their winners bracket dreams alive.
And this is, as you just said, winners bracket. It's going to be ultimate comfort zone. It's going to be a great position for you and your team at QuakeCon. But if you lose, you're still going to have a chance within this tournament. There's that plasma trail.
Wow, Latrommi was able to just swoop right in and take that soul right from the underneath the noses of Defendants.
It's the combination of Anarchy and Slash. When you combine the two of them, it's just, you've now got two champions that are going to be phenomenal at running the soul. They can both sort of just zip in and out, be an absolute nuisance to both hit and keep pinned down. It used to be just Anarchy, but now Slash does the same job.
Krysa in a bad situation here, yeah, pinned in the corner, nowhere to go, and actually was holding onto the soul too. clawz is going to pass the soul back over. Latrommi and Slash and Anarchy, BFFs for life, working together to get the soul where it needs to go. Silencep getting rocketed from behind.
Already a much better start. They were able to get the soul early, and again, I think this team composition is really effective for securing that soul at the start of a match, because now you've got Sorlag and Slash, even at the very beginning, when you will spawn in with that ability, you're both going to have the area denial. It's going to be so risky, almost a complete death sentence going for that first soul. If you get that first soul, you can pick the obelisk that you want. In this case, it's going to be A.
Now this is what we saw from 2C in their first map today, in their first series, was just this control when they were able to get an early lead and they were able to just plant themselves where they needed to be to just hold the defense. But as I can say, that Defendants completely fragging all over the point. And now they get to not an uncontested way to the obelisk, but Silencep is here ready to stop them.
We've only just sort of barely gone 2 minutes into this map, and already the 38%.
Did you see that?
Quite chunky lead. Yes, I did.
clawz literally just swooped in and stole the soul right under the nose of Defendants there, just out of nowhere.
I think in many ways this is why we see Slash picked on this map, and as you can see right here, the power-up spawns. It's going to be quad damage.
This will be dangerous to contest. Usually we see the
no!
Suicide via quad damage rocket. You don't want to be seeing that.
Unfortunately, yeah, but at the end of the day, he was still able to keep quad damage for his team. How much they can be able to secure a couple of really, really good rails. Oh!
Look at these frags, they're just racking up, and another one!
He'll stop eventually. As long as quad is here, he's probably going to be unbelievably lethal. Avec has been able to steal away that soul.
Now, this is good for Defendants, even though, I mean, there's a massive difference. Hang on, as I can say, that clawz is ready with the gauntlet to not even let him capture it. 2Z, that was completely just smothering Defendants at the moment.
It was crazy how we saw that many frags happen in such a short space of time, yet Defendants was still unable to actually deliver the soul. Like, clawz at the last minute showing no fear, surprising him from behind with the gauntlet.
I think a big part of this has been positioning. Silencep has just been there to deny any and all momentum from Defendants, but just beyond that, the defending is just been incredible.
That was a really good trail of LG, but Avic's aim on that shotgun just one step better.
Oh, not a lot of health left at all there.
And you were talking about Silencep being there to defend at any given moment. How about a double kill on the point again?
One of which with the tribal. Now, when you're even defending with a tribal, you know you just have this match under control.
In many ways, the Tri-Bolt is a rocket launcher until you get a rocket launcher, but on a game mode like this, where there's not as many, the weapons are all there, but there's way more heads to share it around, the Tri-Bolt becomes a little bit more useful.
And again, Latrommi is able to just stop them getting any points whatsoever. This round has been a complete one-sided story in the favor of 2Z. And this is the map they picked. So not a huge surprise that they are so comfortable, but still, I mean, 100-0 round is 100-0 round. Still, Defendants are in a position to maybe get some percentages back, but things are not looking good for them in this match so far.
Well, Deus is looking to change it. Even though he got fragged, he was able to sort of deliver it to Krysa. That's the important thing. Even if you go down, getting that pass is really important. Looks like Too Good has access to quad damage. How many frags will he get beforehand, though? 5 HP, that's not a huge amount. And throughout, while getting the power-up, Silencep was able to run in and completely steal it away. And there's that tactical suicide. Passing on the quad damage. Avec needs to make something happen. 98%. This is going to be one hell of a comeback.
Slash pop the plasma throw. We can see Avec is quite low and healthy. He is going to drop. Drops the quad damage in the 6. And there we go. Luminous is there to stop him as well. And this has been a complete just destruction from the side of 2Z.
Avec has no choice but to teleport towards that Dirob just to waste the time. But either way, he was dead, guaranteed. And One of the first 100-0s we've actually seen today.
But I actually think that even the few situations there that defendants were able to bag a power-up or they're able to get the soul, 2Z just, they reacted with the right thing every time. Immediately, without hesitation. And it would always pay off.
It's
very little mistakes.
It seemed like a very night and day difference, where 2Z looks so confident on this map. But Burial Chamber, on the flip side, I think they looked very uncomfortable.
Do you think there's a chance that Burial Chamber is not a map they like very much?
It's always a possibility. And every team can practice for every map, but at the end of the day, they are different. Going in with the Plasma Trail into Gauntlet, wasn't able to get any frags, but it's not going to stop Latrommi from being able to secure the soul anyway. And I touched on this in the previous round. When you have so many champions that have game-changing abilities, when they're all used at once at the start of a match, how do you even risk taking the soul without just dying?
But it is such a crucial time as well. Like, you start the round, and within 20 seconds, you have to decide, okay, what obelisk do we want and how we're going to approach this? Because as soon as one of the teams decides what obelisk they're going for and they capture it, the other team is forced with what's left. And we saw 2Z effortlessly defend obelisk A in round 1, and they got obelisk A again immediately in round 2. Are we going to see another sweep?
It's a lovely point-blank rail. It was good patience, actually, from Krysa. Actually tried to sort of read the entire team. Doubled back, and he was successful, but he just didn't have the health to take that Silencep when he caught him. Go again, already 20% on the board.
I mean, you want to break it down, that's a fifth of the work already done. A minute in. Might only be 4 minutes left at this rate.
Here we go, Krysa with the delivery. They finally get a percentage. Actually, funnily enough, the first time they've got an out of percentage on this map so far.
But it is short-lived as more the frags are racking up in the favor of 2Z, but now we can see Deus is here a little bit better now with this lightning gun trying to defend Latrommi here too. But the soul has already gone in the way of 2Z again. It's on the floor currently. Oh, Silencep missing the throw.
Oh,
missing the throw back to back.
I was never good at basketball either. Oh. Unfortunately, actually, those two fumbled throws have allowed defendants to keep the soul in their location. But so that you can never really talk about it too much because within the blink of an eye it gets delivered. But here comes the power-up. It's going to be quad damage again. Very little protection has appeared on this map so far. Almost 100% quad damage. Too good with the quad. He's done amazing magical things already with this power-up. Has to do it again. Luminous goes down. Too good. Looking for the rest.
A lot of damage coming through though. That shotgun really doing work.
Absolutely. The important thing about having the power-up is also not making sure that you have it, but the enemy team doesn't have access to it as well. Don't give them that chance to make the lead bigger.
Heavy armor going the way of Too Good, going to help him secure it, but we can already see that it is in fact Silencep there again. Silencep really has been that designated ambusher waiting at the enemy obelisk every time on this map. Oh, here comes clawz heading off Too Good. I was about to say, Too Good's his patience has been really impressive throughout both of these maps. Right there, clawz, kind of like almost the opposite of that, just rushing him. Silencep drops, Too Good getting these frags, making them count now. And defendants able to slowly but surely creep up this percentage. Two of them here ready to stop though.
I actually find that Too Good's accuracy as well, when it matters, his accuracy is on point. I mean, speaking of which, 2 back-to-back rails as well.
Havoc is waiting at the bottom though, ready for that soul to come through. Quick rocket jump just to get him on cleanly, but 3 members of 2Z are here. One of them has already dropped.
And Havoc is just completely surrounded. Silence once more gets one, but the difference between percentage in this round is so much shorter. Almost like shades of what we saw on the previous map, but just completely reversed. This time it's defendants that are making a comeback. Will 2Z pull ahead? That's what defendants did last time.
But again, this normal shotgun putting in so much work for every player.
Here comes the power-up. It's been quad so far. That was no roller skates for you, my dear.
There was instant denial. I think he was just trying to surround that point, but the power-up is up now.
And it's protection.
Oh, but defendants have it. Too Good has it too. Silencep drops.
In this situation, he's got low health, so he's actually got to be super careful. clawz tries to get one final kill, but no! Nix with protection and mega health. And this entire duration, I think, is going to be some free percentage. I don't see them being able to take out Too Good for the duration of this protection. They're going to have to wait it out.
He's stuck in the corner though. clawz is going to be guaranteed dead in that situation. Defendants now with quite a healthy lead and climbing. But again, it just has been. Defendants are just working so much better now. You can hear clawz is trying to take the obelisk. It's going to drop down again. Defendants, I mean, it's the accuracy. They haven't been fumbling any of these shots.
the fights have counted. I mean, there are so many talented duelers on Defendants' team as well.
Oh, they're trying to stop it, but again, they're here in numbers. Yeah, wasn't able to capture it either. Defendants, this entire time, the percentage just hasn't stopped going up.
I mean, 5 minutes in. Soul gets taken Silence. Can he get away? This has been the issue they've had, is they're able to fight for it, but once they
for the
see...
valiant attempt, but Silencep with that quick defensive rocket. Here we go. For the first time in a while, 2Z now have the obelisk back. Defendants, though, only 15% left to go. If they can seize it away, that's only going to be about 30 seconds left of the defending they need to do.
He's going to go down, but the important thing there is that he was able to sort of deliver the acid and just deny that entire right-hand side. Very much will limit the way they can approach this obelisk, but Avec really on the warpath and looking to control.
Oh, the injection was popped as it flew through the air. There's the coordination we need to see.
Rail. Unfortunately, missing that rail means he's no way going to out-damage Silencep, who is back on the objective. Speaking of objective, power-up's going to be spawning.
Avic's going to avenge Too Good instantly. The Soul really needs to go back to Defendants if they want to take this round, but it looks like at the moment, yeah, 2Z were able to secure it amongst the chaos.
And it's protection. Sorlag on protection. We've seen this champion do magical things. 3 versus 1, and Sorlag will happily take those odds. Still on so much health, looking for an extra frag. And now they have the Soul delivered. And plenty of protection left to go.
This is a great situation for 2Z to be in. If they can take this round, they're going to tie the series up 1 map apiece, but Defendants need this just to tie things up in the map. Defendants are still going to be a match point if they can do that, but right now Silencep just has been the unsung defender.
Unfortunately, because Silencep opted to go for that teleporter approach and come up from behind, 2 of his teammates had just gone down there, so he wasn't actually there to try and save them or fight with them. 4 kills back to back. I mean, that's going to be a free soul. At least they're going to take the soul at the start of this.
There's the injection back. Latrommi are doing well for themselves.
The back and forth, though.
Oh,
even
so many frags from clawz.
I think clawz got so many frags there, he'll just take that suicide all day.
Sacrifice was not in vain. It did buy his team valuable time. The closer we come to the end of this round, the more important it's going to be to make all these frags count.
There's another drop-off. So consistently today, we are seeing players, when if they're in a bad spot and they know they're going to die, they'll just throw the soul as far away as possible, make the enemy team work for getting it back, or at the very least, maybe a teammate will pick it up. clawz is in trouble. Does manage to get a consolation frag, and in many ways actually still alive, so the damage was done.
Oh,
doesn't quite get a point-blank shotgun, only 6 damage on that one.
Retaliation shotgun, though, coming through strong. Now we see 2Z. They've tied things up, just a few % left to go, and we're going to be going to a map 3. But Defendants, they have what it takes to stop that from happening.
They need to contest it right now, only 1% left.
That's what they're doing. Too Good got a frag, but 2 of them dropped.
Too Good's up behind, though. Here we go. They've dropped off the obelisk. They've dropped it. This comeback is totally possible.
Avec is going to drop, but how many of the Defendants are here to stop? And just to throw the soul away, it's kind of close to the door. He does drop, though, not enough health to last. Darius is here trying to stop him. The power-up is up too. We can see
it's quad damage.
If he can get there quickly, he can turn the tide immediately. Krysa is on the warpath. All 4 of them are here ready to stop, but is he going to drop down? He gets 1 frag. He drops the 2nd frag, and 3 of them from 2Z are here trying to stop him.
That's not going to be enough. clawz, complete safe passage. You can see how many members of Defenders are there to head them off to try and prevent this. clawz stops it off.
Silencep has the soul, and we saw Silencep there with the quad damage as well. They have everything. He threw it away. That's bought them valuable seconds.
So many of the Defendants just went down, though, at this stage. I might say it's going to be guaranteed. Even now he's going through, but the jump pad might not be enough time. Completely headed off at the front. And there we go. That was a complete nail-biter, but 2Z pulled through.
That was until the very end. Now, I think it's safe to say that that is probably 2Z's strongest map. I think they really look like a completely different team when they're on Ruins of Sarnath. Their picks work, their strategies work, especially when they get that obelisk. They look strongest of all when they manage to secure that one there, but a good attempt from Defendants. Let's not forget immediately that first round they played was a 100% to 0% sweep. And then the next one was 99 to 99. Like, that is an instant adjustment from the side of Defendants. If they can take that adjustment and ride that momentum into this 3rd map, it will then be on 2Z to make that instead.
I mean, it was one end of the seesaw to the other. We saw utter destruction in the first round, and then the second round could not have been closer.
I think it speaks volumes for the composure of the players on the side of Defendants. I know that many of the players here today have a significant amount of LAN experience. They're used to competition, they're used to being in this situation, but truly, the way Defendants were able to keep themselves together despite that massive downfall in that first round could speak good things going into the third and final map. But here we are again. Now we are tied up at 1 map apiece. You can see the composure on the face, the focus from 2Z. These guys, they know how close they are to qualifying for the Quake World Championships, and they are so close, yet potentially so far. The losing team will then get sent down to the losers bracket where they have to win again to make it through.
Well, that's it, right? If you win this map, this is our final map. Whoever wins this is moving on to the Quake World Championships live at QuakeCon. And even QuakeCon in itself is not far away. But if you're the team that makes it now, you can rest easy. You know that you're going, you can start preparing. But if you lose here, you have an entire series left to go in the losers bracket. You've got to do a lot more effort.
Blood Covenant will be our third map today. Looks like some of the picks have started already. No doubt these guys are talking about what they want to be going for. Blood Covenant hasn't really been the first pick much today, but it has definitely been up there. But we'll find out momentarily who they're actually going to be picking in the situation, who these final picks are going to be. This is going to be crucial. You can't be making mistakes with who you want to play as this time.
We know that they won't 100% go with a set composition. When I'm talking about 2Z here, of course, where the second we saw Burial Chamber, they completely switched it up. There was no Sorlag and there was no Slash, even though Sorlag and Slash combined was a massive difference in the series that we saw earlier today. But they're not afraid to change it when they feel necessary. So on Blood Covenant, do they switch it up again, or do they go with what we know they like to play?
I can imagine they'll be sticking to their guns. I mean, it was very much like looking at a completely different team. The map 1, Defendants were in total control the whole time. Map number 2, round 1 was all 2Z. Round 2 very much could have gone either way. And I think that their chances are probably a little bit better if they stick to, I mean, the Sorlag is making a huge difference, the Slash is making a huge difference, and even the Nyx, right? You just had those 3 hyper-mobile, smaller champions, then Sorlag, who by herself still has good mobility, just stuck on for good measure. I think it really works well for how 2Z want to play this.
But this is the big story, where you see the bio, it says, one of the Quake World Championship favorites. All unbelievable aimers with incredible team play. Luminous supporting while Xron is absent. Watch out for Latrommi's Anarchy. That's the big one. Xron is absent. They currently have a sub here, as do Defendants. Both of these teams have one player subbing in for someone else. But look at the level of their gameplay, even without the player they originally had. Still unbelievably impressive.
I couldn't tell you who the sub is, honestly, and if we didn't know that they'd been substituted going into this, I don't think we would have known. They are playing like a unit. They're playing like a team that is used to playing together. I think that says a lot for how quickly these players can get adjusted. And I believe, yeah, 2Z going for the same composition we saw beforehand now, only the difference is going to be Blood Covenant, not Ruins of Sarnath.
One big element here too, and we saw that from Silencep consistently in the previous map, was how much shred Sorlag will do to a small champion, and Defendants are consistently having 4 small champions.
Especially considering Silencep has equipped, you will notice, she has equipped the Egg. Now must protect Egg. Egg must live.
I don't know how much difference the Egg makes, but I will just take your word for it.
You want to protect the Egg, because if you lose the Egg, what have you got left?
Still probably QuakeCon.
Probably. But also QuakeCon with Egg is better than QuakeCon with no Egg.
A much better result.
So Blood Covenant we've actually seen today, before this. How are we seeing people approach this map today? Because it's not something we see every time, but it's definitely there.
Well, the big thing is that this is one of those maps that many people have been talking about, and they say that, unlike some of these maps, Blood Covenant is a map with a preferred side, and that side is Obelisk A. Obelisk B is kind of vulnerable in many places, even this location here where Railgun is. This entire domain where the Obelisk near Krysa was standing, there's a lot of open space for you to just get completely just ranged out by rails, by rockets. You can't really fortify that location without putting yourself at massive risk.
Unless you just have that confidence to take those fights to Krysa. I don't think that health is going to keep him alive too much for the damage over time. Luminous gets that kill on Too Good. So much frags coming down at the expense of the Defendants. And again, it actually looks like 2Z have been coming off way better in these initial fights for that very, very first soul for the last few rounds.
But a massive part of that is the team comp. Like, they didn't have that, they physically could not have that start on Burial Chamber because they didn't have Slash and Sorlag. And they are the 2 champions that allow you to have a fantastic start with both of those abilities at one time. Here come Defendants, completely seizing this objective. And the Blaskovic, oh no, Ranger, I should say, on the bridge. He's going to try and take this passage. He needs to win this 1v1, otherwise he's not going to get away. He does manage to take out Latrommi, but here we go. Silencep lying in wait. catches him out.
I think it's just overall a very intelligent composition though, because the first 30 seconds of Sacrifice are so important. That very first sort of fight over for the original soul, choosing what obelisk you get to go to, and with two champions that are so good at just sort of just painting a death area around an area that the enemy team desperately needs to control. I mean, it works out for them.
And we were just talking about the two champions, Silencep and clawz, safely delivering that sort of two-man attack. How many members of 2Z all surrounding the obelisk now, trying to defend it?
But 2Z though now having this, like you said, there's a lot of space over here for Rails, but if 2Z themselves have the right weapons to deal with, they can defend themselves from that situation from a long distance too.
Oh, Krysa just completely ambushed from behind, just not ready for clawz to be there. clawz has put in so much work in this round already.
Power-up going to be spawning in about 10 seconds now. Do we see Defendants sort of prioritize that before going in, or does 2Z send a few people there to try and secure it?
Actually, it looks like currently nobody's going for the power-up. They were 100% focusing on the soul right there. So it's going to be protection. Protection this early on. Very, very important. Many teams would probably prefer having protection because they can rush an objective. Minimal risk required, especially if you've got other people with you. They can output the damage regardless. You may not even need quad to do it.
That's the best case scenario for Defendants. They managed to back themselves the soul and the protection at the same time. So now they have all the momentum. They can hold on for as long as the protection will last. And it is on Avec, who has been a bit of a star player so far for Defendants.
Oh, Avec himself has had such an amazing result in the Quake World Championships. Not just for Sacrifice, but for Duel as well. Another 1v1, Too Good unfortunately misses that rail, so he's going to get punished heavily with a super shotgun.
Yeah, how hard it must be to keep your focus in these chaotic situations like this. I mean, 4 versus 4, and they are all here trying to defend. And 2Z are able to sneak away. Latrommi now has access to the soul. Armor to keep himself alive if he gets the right sort of escorts over there. But he is getting taken down, Deus, with a double kill with a super shotgun.
Definitely caught him off guard there. And you even see, like, he was trying to sort of be a little bit more patient and sort of just wait for the rest of the enemy to sort of run past, but Deus just lying in wait, really.
Silencep trying to go through, trying to get intercepted.
Oh, he's got
Sorlag, plenty of health left to go where that came from.
He's been able to slip past, and there's no one there to ambush him. He's probably going to go down. No, he doesn't! The super nail gun combined with the acid. I mean, that is damage that is almost unrivaled.
Has a pin in the corner, but Latrommi is going to win that 1v1. Super shotgun, or stay with that standard shotgun coming through strong there.
This is an unbelievably close round. It's a round that we were all expecting to see. Map 1, extremely dominant for Defendants. Map 2, crazy dominant for 2Z, with the exception of that final round. And this final map, I mean, anything really can happen, and it is so close. 35% versus 50 in this first round.
Too Good really has just been a star at just helping his teammates get to where they need to go. Almost like that, almost like bodyguard role as soon as they're trying to transport this objective around.
3 seconds, and we're going to have ourselves a power-up. Here comes the ambush there. Teleports into the acid, so he's going to die completely guaranteed right there. clawz looks like he has access to quad damage. He's hitting these crazy shots with Slash consistently, and now he's got quad. I'd be quite worried.
He has only got a machine gun though, a machine gun and a tri-bolt, so doesn't have the best weapons to deal with, but still, even this machine gun doing 40 damage a bullet, that hurts.
Especially from this distance where it's going to be so consistent, and he's got plenty of bullets left. It's fragged anyway, but quad damage being on their side.
Silencep getting 1 frag, he's going to drop and trade it out there. Quad damage is there too. Soul has been taken, but I assume all of 2Z are ready to intercept on the way.
Defendants were able to take a small lead, but 2Z already undoing all that work. Krysa trying to deliver. Looks like Silencep is waiting for him. Catches him with the acid spit. He kills himself. But Silencep manages to actually seize the soul away. Still kind of healthy, especially with a teammate nearby to help him out. Unfortunately, though, fumbles a couple of those rocket jumps, so does a little bit of unnecessary damage to himself.
But clawz is here, able to salvage, so we can see 2Z capturing once again, getting this climbing percentage as we go. Deus here trying to stop from behind. A pincer attack sort of coming in from Defendants here. Injection popped, but definitely not enough to survive. Rockets from both ends.
Silencep just securing himself 3 frags. He's been the ultimate defender from start to finish. Oh, here comes Too Good from behind. Catches
Defending versus the Defendants. Silencep really has just been this brick wall. The green scaly lizard.
The dual-wielding Blazkowicz. Too Good with the double kill. They need to get the soul. Krysa needs to deliver now.
Doesn't look like there's anyone there ready to stop. There's one person waiting for him on the point, but no, only has a nail gun. That isn't going to stop him. Might still die here with the damage, but was able to at least drop it off. Latrommi here is here waiting again to get that soul away. Minimal percentage increase for Defendants and 2Z now.
Yeah, that's going to be the issue. Defendants were able to deliver it, but if you deliver the soul but get no percentage, then you might as well have not got it there in the first place. Power up, looking like Too Good's been able to sort of clean up. Has to make the attack with this quad damage. He's got to make it count. We're dawning on 10% left for Too Good to make this first round.
They'll see it as a sign of weakness.
Now Too Good, he doesn't want to overextend here. He's going to sit back. He's going to really sort of just pepper massive damage from distance while the rest of his team follow up, and they have actually managed to do it. Too Good gets passed towards. Now if they catch it point blank, he's going to get frag. Gets one on Luminous.
Here's that death laser, the quad damage LG. Two of them here to stop him,
wow.
but they don't. Oh, BFFs until the bitter end. They both die.
All right,
Too Good's here with Nyx.
That was a fantastic assault from start to finish. Too Good managed that quad damage perfectly.
Now it's a good situation for Defendants. They can hold off for 40%. They will be able to take the round, but I mean, it's difficult now because for every 10% they get, 2Z will need 1. The odds are against them for the next few minutes unless they can just hold this off permanently.
Well, if they sit here and defend the entire time, which actually look like they might be able to do, that is a long time until the power-up spawns, so this win might come down without it. A little bit of body blocking there, so clawz doesn't take huge damage.
Oh, Silencep gets taken down from a rocket from behind. It's not ready for that one.
Consistently trading 1-for-1, and as long as they continue to trade, it will be in the favor of Defendants while they hold the soul. But
looks like 2Z have a few people here, though. Nice LG coming through from Latrommi. He's going to take the soul away. A quick rocket jump. Look at how fast he is just getting this distance.
Whoa.
That is disgusting.
I mean, that's Anarchy. That's why Anarchy is such a crucial champion in this game mode. The ability to go from obelisk A to B or vice versa, just in the speed of light. And look how many frags 2Z clean up. Avec does take out Silencep, but wow. I mean, that again was a close round. It's going to be so hard to call this map.
That few seconds from Latrommi's Anarchy in that one situation where he literally took the soul and a single rocket jump basically gave him enough speed to get from B to A immediately. That was the winning play in that round.
But I feel like this is why like the stress and pressure of this game mode can be so high, because you can defend really well for a minute and a half.
But you let Anarchy get through once in this game.
Exactly. He bridges the gap for half a second, and all of the work you've done is undone, and that's the round. But here comes the soul. Again, clawz trying to deny, going in with Silencep as well, and it's this classic start that we are seeing 2Z go for every single time. But this time, funnily enough, Defendants are able to take the soul first.
This is a nice change of pace for them. Defendants have been forced to play on the back foot at the start of the majority of the previous rounds. Now the fact they're able to secure the obelisk first and clearly getting the one that they prefer is going to mean wonders for their morale, I should imagine.
They've got over 10% already. I mean, we're not even a minute in.
No, it's not quite hitting the mark even against the squishy lineup. Wishy Too Good quite hasn't been able to hit enough of them yet.
clawz really trying to deny with the plasma trail. Very important element for plasma trail in this game mode is that even when Slash dies, the plasma trail doesn't disappear. It will explode anyway. Already 20% in. Dawning very close to 25, in fact. Looking to be a much better round, and the defense as well, using the sort of just the ranged control of those super nail guns, making it so risky for the 2Z lineup. Tries to go in for a telefrag, can't quite achieve it. Luminous trying to contest. A couple of members of 2Z now trying to make the run back.
And as always, it is Latrommi ready to steal it. Defendants, I don't think they're quite ready to stop him in time. This is a fast champion here as Anarchy dropped it off. How much percent are they going to be able to get before Defendants can stop them?
Nice.
We're off to a pretty good start. Not a lot of people around, but I think a big part of that might be the power-up. Looks very much like the Defendants kind of sitting towards that power-up location. I reckon they're probably going to try and seize that first and then use it to seize the next obelisk.
A lot of damage coming through. These nails are actually going to mean ones for just denying this power-up. Look at that rain of death.
But here comes clawz from behind. No one ready. And clawz has the quad damage. Very weak, though. But just raining hell down. Goes for a suicide. There we go. It allows Latrommi to collect the quad damage. So at least 2Z still have it. Avec destroyed. And we're seeing that more and more. The tactical suicide to make sure that you can just simply pass the power up onto your teammate. Avec again destroyed.
Just wanting to waste as little of that quad damage as possible. Super Shotgun being a really good tool for that. Minimizing the amount of shots you're wasting so you can make every hit count.
Latrommi looking to sort of take to the fight a little bit. he can ambush people with a super shotgun. I mean, a point-blank super shotgun with every pellet will be 120 damage. And with the lineup that the Defendants once again have, these squishy champions will get deleted by a point-blank super shotgun.
Despite the strong start for Defendants, though, 2Z have been able to demand a lead again. 55% approaching now. They're here trying to stop them, but we can see that again in force. 2Z are here to stop.
One thing I found really interesting is how many people were sort of mentioning how this obelisk in particular was quite a tricky obelisk to defend at one point, but every time we've seen Blood Covenant, this has actually been the far preferred point when it's delivered to and easily defended.
I think it's when you defend it as a team that already has all of your equipment good to go. It's when you don't have much to work with and the enemy team can start to shoot those rockets at rails at you from a distance when you can't really compete with them. But at the moment, 2Z have just been controlling all these weapons to such a good degree.
It's kind of crazy how the flow of the map will change with just 1 month's experience for these teams to really learn exactly how each obelisk location works. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. These teams have been putting in so much effort and practice. The Quake World Championship means so much to them. And another
As it should. There's a like life-changing amount of money for every team that's going to place well at the World Championships, but they have to still finish this off. 2Z are 10% away from securing themselves there. And counting.
Defendants had such an amazing start, like an extremely dominant start, but 5%. He's gone in for the quad damage. Avec, he needs to run in. He needs to make something happen. They only have 2% left. He needs to make something count. Oh no!
Not quite. Latrommi is able to stop him in his tracks. The quad damage is sitting there, but they can't focus on it. They have to just keep people on the obelisk. Oh, they've managed to stop it. Wow, Krysa with that clutch steal, 99% to 34. Now, Defendants, they cannot lose this soul at any point already around, or it will be game over.
Already 2 players lying in wait. They're starting to close in. This is going to be a massive fight towards Obelisk A, and it needs to be a fight that Defendants can win.
But they have started it off, though. They have a few seconds to collect their thoughts. A few seconds left of quad damage. No, it just expires. Oof, heavily damage coming through strong.
Heavily believe that quad damage was used very much to sort of just prevent 2Z from taking its obelisk. Now it's down. There's nothing to stop. Silence goes down, but it looks very much like Krysa might follow.
No, another one. 2 are left, but they do get one of the frags. Latrommi is coming through strong to try and keep his team alive, but Deus gets a kill. Deus gets another kill. Luminous drops 2. Super nail gun. Double kill.
Dual wielding a super nail gun, in fact.
I mean, that is a vicious. That's a brutal way to defend. Defendants now 60%.
Here comes the attack. So many heads on this location, but the plasma trail detonation. Deus goes down because of it.
Still contesting. So they have stolen it, and it's Latrommi. This is disastrous for 2Z. This is the Anarchy. They need to stop him now. But can they? Do they have the time?
He's very weak. If they tag him with 1 rail, it's going to be good, but he's going up from behind. Are they ready for him? Too Good gets taken out point blank. Too Good had to try and defend that. And that's it. 2Z pull off their big win. They've qualified for the Quake World Championship Finals for Sacrifice, and that was just a great display, Mustard.
That was such a good adjustment. I mean, the big one that really reigns true was the champion choice. Map number 1 was just not a composition we're really used to seeing from them. However, now, completely different story. When they got the Slash, they got the Sorlag, it was a completely different team, and well played to them. But I mean, Defendants played out of their mind to make that adjustment in the second map, and still very much in the tournament now, just in the losers brackets. They still have a chance. They've just lost that safety net of the winners bracket.
That was a great display of Sacrifice. That was a great display of why maps are important, why champions are important, and why straight up team communication is important also. I mean, the thing is, we can't take away from Defendants. They played unbelievably well, but everyone said this going into the tournament. 2Z are not only the favorites to qualify, but they have been very vocal about how much they've been preparing for this tournament. Sacrifice is their forte in Quake Champions.
And also, let's not forget, this is going to be a team that is not only capable of qualifying for QuakeCon World Finals for Quake Championships over at QuakeCon in a few weeks' time, but you might have just watched the team that could be winning QuakeCon this year, the World Championships first place. That might very well be the best Sacrifice team in the world in a few weeks' time.
Well, only time will tell, and that is one of our qualified teams. While we prepare to find out who else will make it, we're going to throw you guys over to the analyst desk.
Congratulations to Z.